Go the hole. Oh my God!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Golf Collective podcast. I'm your host, Josh, here with my buddy Carter. Carter, how are we doing today?
Doing good. It's my first day back at work in 2 weeks. I've been gallivanting across Europe for 2 weeks, so played one round of golf, and
Casual.
yeah, it's caught up with me today, the jet lag and having a full work day.
You can
So
see it in his eyes. He's just
I've been yelling
a little sleepy. How was you only played one round? I thought you were playing a couple.
one round. We were gonna play twice and then decided not to in Paris because of the train situation and not knowing how far out it would be, or because when we played in London, we played at Sunningdale. Yeah, that's how you
Get
say
the
it.
hoodie on.
I was calling it Sunningdale, and it was like, a 40-minute train ride out to the area, and then a 5-minute walk from the train station to the front gates of the course. So that was really easy, but
Jeez.
we would have had to taken 2 more trains to get to the course that we were going to play in France. So decided against it instead. Hung out around Paris for an extra day, and yeah, I think it was a good decision, especially with
Nice.
how well our round went at Sunningdale.
Yeah, well, we'll get into that a little bit later because I wanna
Yeah.
hear about your European travels. Because is that the second time you've been over? I think the first time
This
you
is
went.
the third time I've been over. We
That's
went
right. You went to
to
Poland.
the it's a Poland with a choir trip. That was really cool, seeing a little bit of Eastern Europe and the culture over there. And then went to England probably 10 years ago, Scotland, played around the golf in Scotland. Don't remember it because I was 12 and no clue what I shot. The only reason I couldn't play the old course, and my dad did, is because I did not have a registered handicap at the time.
Oh, wow, yeah.
No way to prove that I was under a 25 handicap, which who knows what I was at.
At 12, who knows?
But was in London for 2 days, played golf one day, did all the kind of touristy stuff, Tower Bridge and then Tower of London. And those were really cool to see again as a grown up. And then went to 2 shows in the West End, saw Les Mis, which is one of my favorite musicals, and then The Play That Goes Wrong, which was absolutely hilarious. If you don't know what that is, you
I've
should
heard that one, yeah.
definitely look it up on TikTok or something else. It's really funny. Then hopped on the Eurostar, went to Paris for 5 days, and loved Paris way more than I thought I would. Probably my favorite city on the trip that we went to. Everyone was
Wow.
surprisingly nice, which was, you don't hear that
You
about
got to tell
Parisians.
Jeff this. Jeff's a big Paris hater.
He's not gonna believe me.
No, it's
He
not.
was telling me before I went that that I was gonna hate Paris, and I
Mhm.
loved it. I thought it was amazing. Eiffel Tower's really high. If you don't like heights like I do not recommend going up the elevator. I was grasping for my life watching the ground get farther and farther away. It's
Man,
300 meters in the air, which I can't do the math to convert to feet,
that's
but
like
it's a lot.
almost 1,000 feet.
Yeah, it was
Or
really high,
is, yeah.
but it's really cool, especially from an architecture standpoint, because each kind of district was built in a different period of time.
Hmm.
So as you're walking around, there's different architectural buildings. There's a limit on how tall every single building can be in Paris. I think it's 7 stories,
Yep.
which is really cool. So everything's really, condensed and close together, but it's rich in history anywhere you go. Did a running tour around the Latin Quarter, which is where Rome first settled in Paris. So the Roman walls are still up, and
Hmm.
walked down, just sat by every cafe we could, drank a lot of wine, had 2 bottles of champagne under the Eiffel Tower at sunset with my girlfriend. So that was amazing. Then went to Brussels, and getting off the train at Brussels into the hotel was a little bit of a headache because there was a protest going on of 150,000 people. So
I've
a
heard
20-minute
a little bit of this story from my mom.
Yeah, a 20-minute drive took an hour and a half. So
Oh
that
my
was, and
gosh.
nobody turns on their AC in the cars over there. So, and it was, now I don't want to say record heat, but it was like 90 degrees. So it wasn't,
Jeez.
comfortable by any means. Was in Brussels for a day, got to walk around. Cool city. Feels like, you're kind of walking around in DC. If you've ever been to DC, it
Hmm.
just kind of feels really residential, but then you take one turn and all of a sudden there's these palaces and
Massive
castles that were built.
lawns and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, just out of nowhere. The beer is really good. Got a lot of
Oh
beer
yeah,
flights. They
Belgian
definitely
beer.
know how to make their beer over there, and that's because in the 1500s, 1600s, beer was better to drink than water because water had all of the bacteria and everything in it. And so when they would ferment the beer and make the beer, it would kill all of the bacteria. So it was healthier to drink beer, which I think if Matthew was on, he'd be
He'd be
preaching
ecstatic.
that.
He'd be
Yeah,
drinking a beer already.
all the time. And then spent a day in Brussels, then took a day trip to Bruges and Ghent, which are these two little tiny towns on the western side of Belgium. And those places were amazing. Just little old kind of, there's still a canal, a moat that goes around each city that's
Mm-hmm.
was there to protect it in the old days from the Vikings raiding in, or everything was brought in on little ships from the sea through these canals. And I mean, everything's just really old. Even
Yeah,
Italy,
yeah.
that's the best way to describe
It's
it.
old.
It feels kind of like the United States, but a little more condensed and a lot older.
Mm-hmm.
But
Easier to travel. Way
really nice.
more history.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Way
And
older
public
stuff.
transportation over there is
No,
really
it's you can't beat it.
so much better than anything that we could have. I would kill to have, a train that goes from Nashville to Atlanta so I could be home in 2.5 hours and not have to drive on these roads.
Through Chattanooga. God.
Yeah, I'm completely fine with never driving through that city again in my life, and I'm gonna have to do it 100 more times.
We both have to do it to go to our parents' houses, but like opposite. Like you're going north south to 24, and I'm going like east west through the boonies.
It is
Terrible.
the worst city to drive through
But
that I've ever experienced in my life.
yeah.
And then rounded out the trip going to Amsterdam, which
Oh,
was really, really cool.
all the
I think he said
canals.
there's 137 canals.
Mm-hmm.
We took a canal trip. We walked around. There's more bikes than people
Mm-hmm.
in Amsterdam. There's like 900,000 residents, and there's 1.2 million bikes, I
It's
think is what
crazy.
our guide said. And bikes run the town. Like bikes have the right of way.
Mm-hmm.
Cars will stop for bikes, everything. They have to fish 15,000 bikes out of the canal each year because nobody locks their bikes on the parking lots because they don't really care if it gets stolen because all the nice bikes
Because
that they
there's a
have is
million of them.
yeah. So each person has a really nice bike that they take to work, and then they have a bar bike, which is this little rinky-dink, you know, piece of crap bike
Right.
that you drive out to the bars.
If you forget it
And
because you're hammered, like it's fine.
yeah, also it's people will just walk out and just take a bike that they see, and if it's your bike, then you just take someone else's bike. So it's like a big circle
It's like
of
the
nobody
umbrellas. Yeah, the random
Yeah,
umbrellas. Yeah.
exactly. Like nobody cares.
I
They're
didn't
just
know
like,
that.
well, I get changing bikes this week.
That's crazy.
Then we took a 20-mile bike ride out into the countryside of Amsterdam. I got this really nice. I actually have some cheese that I need to go grab. But met this funny dude who made clogs and cheese. His brother made the cheese, so I brought back a wheel of
Holy,
cheese.
that's huge.
It's made from ingredients, raw milk. That's all it says on the back.
That's
And
all.
it's really good. It's really good cheese. And then
That's
yeah,
awesome.
hopped on a 9-hour flight back, which I never want to do again. That's a really long flight.
You're telling me.
And yeah, landed in Atlanta and then immediately got in my car and drove back to Nashville and then crashed.
Holy cow.
I'm sure I'm leaving out some things, but that's kind of the quick synopsis of my time across the pond, and really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I want to talk about the golf when we get to our golf section, but I think that's a good way to show you why we have not recorded in the last 4 months is we have been all over the place. I think
I'm 7 hours ahead.
yeah. Carter's been abroad. I traveled for work for half a month.
Yeah,
I've
you
been
went
to
everywhere.
been to Atlanta. I'm going to Minnesota in like 2 weeks. I've been home to my parents in Alabama. We went to the Masters and I have not stopped moving since. I think I've been home.
Yeah.
This is like going to be my third weekend at home since the Masters, and last weekend was like the second weekend. So we have been a little absent from the content. The drive's been a little low because it's just so hard to like edit TikToks and like record and like edit recordings and do thumbnails and all that when you're not even home. Like I have my laptop, but everything runs so much better on my PC. So we've been a little busy, but I definitely want to get back into the grind, get a better schedule going, start some blogs and get the blogs and the podcast alternating every week.
Yep.
We got some fun stuff to to do and fun stuff to talk about on our little hiatus that we've been on. But I kind of want to ground us real quick, kind of in the sports world. There's a lot that's happened in like the last couple weeks across the board in professional sports, college sports. So you watched the game last night, the NBA game,
Yeah,
the
I did.
the Thunder win in 7.
Mhm.
Halliburton tore his ACL, which sucked.
It shattered it
Just completely
in a
blew
bad
up.
way.
But Shy SGA, man, he won MVP, Finals MVP, Western Conference Finals MVP, first team All NBA, NBA All Star, scoring title, and he's an NBA champ. And I want to hear your thoughts on that because that is an insane season.
I mean, I haven't watched the NBA that much in recent years because other sports have just kind of taken my eye, but especially this past year since I've started working with men's and women's basketball at Belmont on the strength side of things, I've paid attention to it a little bit more, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say it's one of the best MVP seasons that's ever happened because I mean it wasn't extremely glamorous like other ones, but I think it's one of the most decorated MVP
Yeah.
seasons and like just seasons from a player that has happened in a very long time. And to cap it off with a finals win in a series that was really unpredictable. I mean, it was just trading blowouts and close games. So, um, yeah, he's definitely a baller. You know, it's a different style of basketball than
Mm-hmm.
former MVPs have been the last couple of years, where it's a lot of 3-point shooters that are winning, or
Or big man in the
kind
paint.
of assist guys. But his mid range game has really, I think he's exploited it, the lack of it
Mm-hmm.
in recent years. That defenses are expecting you to either shoot a three or drive to the rim and get a bucket. And there's something to be said about his like foul baiting stuff, but at the end of the day, he's getting to the rim downhill and getting hard contact, which they're going to call in the NBA. But he also has in his pocket the mid range game to kind of keep the defense on their toes and really just play around with them and have a season like he did.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's nice to have a little switch up of, you're not dumping out threes or, sitting into the big man to score in the paint or take a foul. I think it was fun to see that kind of KD-esque mid-range game kind of appears in someone else. They did kind of have a little bit of a cakewalk in terms of teams they played to get to the finals and injuries. I mean, you think about Steph and Gordon and
Yeah.
Halliburton that they all got injured, in their series. But pretty cool. NBA, I don't follow it as much. I watch the finals. I like the Pacers. I think they're, it's one of those Cinderella franchises who, hasn't really done much in the NBA. But then again, Oklahoma City hasn't either in terms of championships since they moved to Oklahoma. So cool for OKC to win one. Katie, speaking of OKC, is going to Houston with Westbrook. I think Westbrook just signed with them today too. So that's
Yeah, I
crazy
don't
NBA
really understand
moves.
that. But
They're just getting the band
sure,
back
I
together.
guess.
So they're all in their fields
Yeah,
watching their team win a
yeah.
championship. But flip over to NHL. Panthers went back to back, and they going 3 years in a row. It's kind of sick to
Mhm.
see the dominance there. I was fortunate enough to go to a first round game with my coworker Tyler when I was down in Florida, which was sick. Our boss has fourth row seats right across from the Panthers bench, and that was probably the most fun atmosphere I've been in a hockey game since like 2016 Preds. I went to a
Yeah.
first round game there in that season, and it was electric. So that was pretty sick. I don't know if you watched any of it or if you kept up at all. You used to be a pretty big hockey guy, and I know your dad is.
Yeah, I still love hockey. It was kind of hard when we were because most of the game or the last I think 3 games or 4 games
Mm-hmm.
were played when we were overseas, so it was like 3 a.m. when they were going on. So I was following and didn't watch much, but it seemed like Florida just kind of handled business and shut down McDavid.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, what can you say about hockey is so hard to win in the playoffs, and especially when it seems that not when it seems, but keeping your guys fresh enough, especially in their legs, to play that many games and play that hard, like Florida did, and clearly their coaching staff and their players are all on the same page of how they're going to approach the season and the postseason, and it's worked the past 2 years. They've been by far the best team,
Past 3
especially in the
years.
playoffs.
I mean, they've
Yeah.
they've
Oh,
taken
right,
it
yeah.
taken it deep all the last 3 years. So
Yeah.
pretty cool. I like Chuck. Chuck's kind of
Mhm.
I might start following them a little bit just because the Preds aren't giving me much. So
No,
MLB
they are awful.
we're Braves guys. We've said that before. It's I don't really keep up with the rest of the MLB, just kind of our guys. But we sweep the Mets and then lose a series to the Marlins. That's kind of tough. We lose Chris Sale on him trying to do too much at 60 years old, rib
Yeah.
injury. And I think we're beating the Mets right now again. So it's
Yeah, we're at 3-0 right now.
our postseason percentage chance goes from 20 to 50 to 30 to 40, and I don't think we're gonna make it, but
I don't either, but the rest of the league's pretty fun to watch. I mean, I think a dark horse for a really good team this year. Not a dark horse, but they kind of are because their history. The Cubs have been playing really well that I've been following.
Yeah.
Pete Crow Armstrong's having a really good season. The Dodgers and the Yankees are still just rolling, so it's too early to tell. I mean, it's not even
Detroit, Mets.
Detroit. Yeah. So
We'll
we'll see
happens.
what pans out. There's like 83 games left or something.
Yeah, we're not even halfway. So I think I'm going
Braves
to.
It's dead in the water, but
Yeah, we're kind of close. I think me and my buddies are crashing your parents' place for the Yankees series.
oh, that'd be cool.
If you're not busy, come down and hang out. But they're gonna go to
I
the
have no clue.
Friday, Saturday games into July, so that'll be fun. JD's a big Yankees fan, and he hasn't been to Truist before, so that'll be gonna go crash the battery. And
I didn't do a game this year. I need to change that. I used to go to not as many as Matthew, but I mean like 20 over the summers when I was living in Atlanta.
that summer I lived there, we probably went to 10 or 12
A lot.
games. Went to a lot of
Yeah,
games.
we went to that.
I went to 2 games last year, I think. But I've been to more Braves games in the last 4 years than I have the last 10, just because we're not living there. But that's some Braves news. In terms of PGA, since we last podcasted, it's been a lot. Rory wins the Masters. JT wins Heritage the week after. Scotty's won the Byron, the PGA, and the Memorial. And JJ Spawn just won the Open. And then Tommy Fleetwood, the Fleetwood fumble, as I'm going to call it, just completely blows up yesterday on 15 through 18. And Keegan Bradley, Captain America, comes through with a birdie on 18 to seal away a victory for the homeland. So tons of stuff happening there that we have yet to cover, and we might not even cover it, but just want to make sure we get in the records. And also, Jay Monahan is on his way out at the end of next year, and we've got Brian Rolap, NFL guy, coming in as the new PGA Tour CEO. So that's exciting. Some changes, maybe some clause changes, some more perks for players, maybe some better tournament structure, better TV deals. Hoping for some positive changes in the PGA. And we're out of events almost this year, which is crazy. No more signature events. We've got was it Portrush in the middle of July?
Yep. Portrush in I think 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks or something.
Next week's 4th of July. Yeah, middle of July.
Weekend after.
Over. So
it's kind of crazy. We were hot there at the beginning of the season, and then went to the Masters, and that was basically our coverage. But
yeah,
it was really really cool to go to the Masters. I know we have a whole podcast dedicated to the three of us going, but it was insane. We've played some golf since then. You've played golf in 2 different countries since then. We got to play Macklemore with Yearway and Matthew. You and I played some at Myrtle, which was some iffy golf from us and the dads, I will say.
that was an experience.
So golf game kind of sucks right now. I've got the putter yips, but I mean,
Yeah, it is a sight to behold sometimes.
we could let's skim through our Myrtle rounds real quick, because I think that was the last time besides Macklemore that we played.
Yeah.
So
I don't really remember much of them. Let me see if I can pull up my.
we played True Blue
Yep.
and at Polly's Island, and then what River Club? No. What was the other course we played? Heritage?
I just played True Blue and River Club.
River Club.
Those are
That's right. There's only two we played.
River Club. So,
I
mean,
I think I missed 6 or 7 fairways in 2 rounds, and had a combined 76 putts in 2 rounds.
Yeah.
So I think I went 80, 85, 83 or something. I have not 87, 83. No, sorry, 84, 87. So nothing to be proud of. I'm still sitting at the 7.6. I don't know how that's not changed. I've played terrible golf this year. Started the year as a 7.6. I'm still a 7.6. And you didn't play terrible.
No, I shot 74 at True Blue. I played really well, really solid. Just kind of how my game's been recently with hitting a decent amount of fairways, hitting a lot of greens, not making that many birdie putts, which changed. Or I didn't make that many birdie putts at Sunnydale. I just made a lot of putts, which we'll get into. But True Blue, I was even going into 18, and 18 is a really hard hole on a tee shot. It's a big fairway, but a lot of water surrounding the fairway, so you have to get it on the fairway to have a chance to go at the green. And I absolutely just chunked a 7-wood and was surprised that it came up short into the water. Didn't realize that it did. I thought I kind of just drop kicked it into the fairway and was gonna have a 4-iron in, and came out with a double to shoot 2 over. So was really pissed at that.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit more pissed than I should have been, but with how I was playing, it kind of just came out of nowhere. And then 77 at River Club. Just
It was a windy day.
struggled all day. Yeah, it was a weird day for everybody. Nobody could get the ball in the hole, and everyone was just kind of flopping it around.
Yeah. You had an eagle, which was kind of sick.
I did have an eagle.
Took an absolute mega line over the trees. We thought it was like in someone's backyard, and he was 135 yards into a par 3 or par 5 on your second, and just stuck it to 15 feet.
Hey, if you can cut a corner, cut a corner.
It's true, yeah. But yeah, that was the River Club round was weird because your dad played. That's probably the worst round I've seen him play in years. He
played really well.
I think he shot 80, 82, 86. I think I only beat him lost him by 1. I think he shot 83. Jeff didn't play well. He couldn't. I don't think he could get off the tee. So it was interesting round of Myrtle. We usually play well and have fun, and it just felt like we were kind of beating the ball around trying to get to the beach. So I always enjoy playing at the beach, but every now and then I think it's good just to leave the clubs in the locker room. Just chill on the beach and drink a couple more beers than we did. But so yeah, Myrtle Beach golf is fun. Brian was actually at Wachesaw today. They're rebuilding 18 Green, so we played that course a couple years ago. Got on there, and he was out there working on some stuff. What else we got? I'm going to the Patch tomorrow. Which if you don't know what the Patch is, it's the kind of the local muni in Augusta that Augusta bought and is pumping in a bunch of money into to completely renovate, kind of take the first tee there and have like a whole first tee facility, which is really cool. So Tom Fazio Designs, and Bo Welling are kind of co-designing. They're in full construction right now. Tiger was out there Friday with Bo, walking the par 3 course and doing some media stuff. So I'm gonna go out there tomorrow with Blake, and I think they're starting to get some finishing grades on and grassing, and so that's gonna be pretty sick to see that in person. Yeah. And I've heard there's some good I've seen there's elevation and stuff.
It looks really hilly.
Yeah, it's very hilly. There's like a big kind of ravine like smack in the middle of the site. So working around that doing some rounding concepts was interesting and difficult because you kind of only have 1.5 ways in and out in terms of your finishing holes and stuff. And so the routing kind of stayed the same for like 1, 9, 10, and 18 for the most part. So it'll be cool to actually see like the topography after staring at the grading plan for 8 months.
Yeah.
So that'd be pretty cool. I was hoping Matthew would get on here because I kind of wanted to do a quick check-in on we did a goals podcast at the beginning of the year, 2025 goals. So I wanted to check in on those and see how we're doing. And we can do mine if you want, give some input.
Yeah, that's right there.
So to go back through my 2025 golf goals were to have a sub-6 handicap, play 30 rounds, attend a professional event, practice an hour a week, play 5 new courses in this area, play in a new state, get rid of the cast in my swing, and play 3 new Fazio courses. So far I've played 13 rounds, which is slightly under pace. I think we're halfway through the year almost exactly. So
yeah,
that's still doable, and I'm a little less busy these upcoming months. So I think I can smack in a couple more rounds, get a couple more, maybe play twice a weekend every now and then. So we're doing okay there. I did get to attend a professional event, and I got to attend 2. So we went to the Masters, and then I went to PGA Championship not too long after at Quail Hollow, which we can talk about that a little too because that was pretty cool. So check that one off. That's pretty sick. Got to go to 2 hour of practice a week is no, not even close. I think the only time I've gone to the range really is before a round. I've hit the dinky little turf mat range around here a couple times, but there's nowhere really good to practice, which is kind of a problem.
It's hard to find a place to practice if you don't belong to a club.
Yeah, and everything around here it's either private or like there's a couple courses that don't even have ranges. So at that point, it's not even worth it to just go out and putt because the grass is not even a good putting surface to get good practice on. Play 5 new courses in my area. I think I'm gonna count Macklemore because that's that's within driving distance. So that's 1. And there's a couple more that I have an eye on that I want to do. Well, I guess Sequoia, that counts.
Yeah.
We played Sequoia on the bachelor trip. So I won't count the other course we played because that course was wild.
Smoky Mountain Golf Club.
Yeah, it's not even in the handicap index.
Crazy.
It's not even like registered as a.
No.
That place is nuts. Playing a new state that I'm gonna have to go to like Kentucky or Virginia to do that because I've played in every other state around here, which is still doable. I think my uncle got a national membership at the Virginian, which is a Fazio course just kind of outside Bristol almost. So I'm trying to get him to get me up there, and play for a weekend. So that's still possible. The cast in my swing is just gonna come with that hour of practice I gotta get into. And my dad and I worked on it a little bit when I was home at the range, and I think it's coming from, and you probably can help me out with this too. I think it's coming from my takeaway, because my takeaway is so inside that I have nowhere else to go besides back over the top to get to the ball.
Yeah.
So I think that's just going to come with a lot of reps and getting the video camera on myself. And
yeah, swing changes are one of the hardest things to do. So, but yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that you could get a little bit more out on your backswing. The club head a little bit more in front of your hands and give yourself the room to actually not drop's a bad word, but find the slot and start hitting the inside of the ball and getting the heel out of play.
Yeah, because I'm kind of dealing with that double miss where I'm either like pull hooking it or I'm outside with an open path, which is just an error for slice, and it's not fun. It's not fun to deal with. And then play 3 new Fazio courses. Haven't played any yet. I think we have the ability to get on Crabapple and White Columns. Hopefully before Crabapple goes through.
White columns.
Yeah, that's not a bad track. But we're about to do big renovations at Capital City.
Okay.
So maybe get out there before that happens. But I think we can only get out on weekdays, which would be a little difficult with schedules. But who knows? But that's that Capital City, White Column, Virginian. Any of those are pretty viable. I'm hoping I can get out to Wade Hampton kind of into the summer. They had to open late to members this year for renovation stuff, and so haven't really been able to get on or ask or anything, but we'll see about that. But I think that one's still doable. So I'd say for me, we're looking good halfway through the year on the goals. I think the practice is going to be the key to kind of opening the game up a little bit and being motivated to try and complete the rest of the goals. So looking up, I think it's doable for the first list. Matthew's goals, he wanted to be a sub 5, play 25 rounds. He did attend a professional event. He's not practicing 30 minutes a week and played 3 new golf courses. I think he's gotten 2 out of 3.
Mm-hmm.
So
He would have to do. I'm not sure what his handicap is. I'm sure he's around a 6 or an 8, somewhere in that range. And then I don't know if 30 minutes a week might count if he's hitting balls in his backyard that will accumulate to those 30 minutes. But with a 9-month-old,
that's tough.
A little difficult to do that. Yeah. So
I told him to get a mat and a net in the garage. And then that's when he texted and said golf sucks, and I put that in our notes. That's just a direct quote.
He's definitely in a rut with his relationship of golf.
Yeah, the Macklemore round was it was tough to watch. Just
something special.
It was a fun round, but his golf swing is his worst enemy at the moment. But I think he has, because he played Atlanta Country Club this year, right? Was that this year?
Did play Atlanta Country Club this year.
Yeah, that's three new courses. Good for him. With a 9-month-old, getting half those goals is impressive.
Oh, hands off! I could not do it.
No, so that's where he is tonight. He was gonna join us, but I think Ansley's not feeling well, and he's got the baby, so we'll get him on the next one. But is there anything you wanna go over? We can talk about Tommy Fleetwood, the fumbler, Ryder Cup.
We'll talk about Sunningdale a little bit. I don't know how much you've known about this course or looked into it, but we played the new course. The old course is the world-renowned one. I think it's within the top 10 of courses in the world outside of the U.S., so excluding all U.S. courses. And the new course, I think, was ranked like 30th in the world outside the U.S. The new course was built in, let's see, when did it open? In 1923.
Jeez, 100 years old.
Very new, and it's not a great. I don't want to make anyone mad that's on here, because it is a great track, but it's not appealing in a way that you would think a top 30 golf course would be. If you were a 15 handicap and you paid the money to go play a course like.
We lost you. Poor buddy's frozen on my screen. Carter. There he goes. Oh, he's back.
Okay. I don't know what that was.
Internet spikes.
Wi-Fi.
9 o'clock.
Wi-Fi acts up. Anyways, so built in 1923. If you're a high handicapper, you might not think that it's the most, not worth the money or not a good course at all. But I think something that you can speak of being in the golf architecture world, it fits into the ground perfectly. It looks like it was meant to be there, kind of how the vibe that you get at Old Mac if you've ever been to Bandon, or you go play a local course and it's not that great, but something just feels right about it. This is what the new course at Sunningdale had, and Tommy Fleetwood and Justin Rose played a match play event out there on the new course to commemorate the 100 years 2 years ago, with the course being open. and had probably one of the wildest rounds I've ever had in my entire life. So I'll kind of walk you through. It's a par 70. I shot 36, 36 for a two
Hmm.
over, 72 with one, two, three, four, five birdies, five bogeys, and a double.
Wow.
And I made probably about, I mean, if my dad's probably going to disagree with me, but he wasn't the one hitting the putts. I would say 260 feet of putts.
Holy cow. I don't think
I
I've made that
made,
many feet of putts in like this year.
I mean, it was our two caddies were great. One of our uh, old caddies, my dad's caddied for Fleetwood in 2014. They both caddied on the European tour for forever, so they really knew what they were talking about, and they really enjoyed having some decent golfers because they would
Hmm.
just shoot it and then give us the club because by the second hole they knew how far we hit everything.
Yeah.
So they would just hand us the club, tell us what to hit. We go up to the green. It was a conversation about what the putt was doing instead of like a normal caddy at a resort who doesn't do much. He just tells you where to hit it.
Right.
So on the first hole, uh, don't blow it right. I'm in the first cut, hit it way over the green because I have a flyer, then an impossible chip that I knock out to probably, 55 to 65 feet, drain it. Next hole, my dad sends one over the green on a par three, has an impossible chip, makes the chip. I mean, so at the start of the round, it was just fireworks. And then I proceeded on, let's see, six, or no,
Hold on, let me
seven.
I'm
I
gonna
made
bring up
a
the
four.
you there?
Well, since my Wi-Fi is acting up, I'll go through this quick. I made probably 3 feet over 45, or three putts over 45 feet, one putt over 55 feet, four or five 20-footers, and then every 5-footer that I looked at. And I mean, it was just an amazing course. If you're ever over in London, go play it. Spend the day there. They have an amazing breakfast and locker room, and the caddies were great. The range is irons only. It's a perfect grass. I'm not sure what strand it is, but it's a heathland course, so it's really tight grass sitting on that perfect little kind of compacted bed of sand underneath. So every ball you hit, it's just flush. The divot comes out perfect. You'll never hit one fat because the club just bounces off of the ground, especially chipping around the greens. So
Do you
it
wanna
was an unbelievable course.
I pulled up I got it pulled up here on our screen. Do you wanna take me through like your two or three favorite holes?
Yeah, pull it up.
I don't know if you can see. I've got it. I
I
don't
can say with that I can't see it, but six, the par five, the big sweeping dogleg right, par five with the gorse all onto the right. Is that the right hole that I'm looking at?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that
That
was an amazing hole. It's an elevated tee shot. You're going straight downhill. The landing zone is right at the corner of the dogleg, so the fairway's a lot tighter than you would think it is on top of the tee. I hit a 7-wood in onto an elevated green with a cliff to the right, gorse and bunkers to the left. Hit it just over the green, and then uh, was in a tree, chipped out, and then got up and down for par. That was just a really cool hole visually to be on. It reminded me a lot of Oregon,
mhm.
um, and just kind of the setup of everything that was really appealing to a person who cuts the ball. And it's a hard tee shot with a down hit or a side lie on the second shot, so you really have to be committed to hitting the screen in two if you want to go for it. When I had a 7-wood from 240. I mean, I had to be comfortable with hitting that shot. If you had any doubts into it, you would either chunk it off the toe and hit it right into the gorse, or overcompensate and hook it into the gorse to your left. The par three before that, five, was really cool visually. It was basically an infinity green running out into just vast farmland of kind of the countryside of the outskirts of London, and made bogey on that hole, but you can't take that away from how visually striking of a hole it was and how fun it is to hit into an infinity green like that. And then let's see, what would 17 is a really good hard par three. The green runs diagonally from you, and our pin was back right, and
Is it a
if you were to
Redan?
hit it,
Kind of looks no.
it is Redan green. That was
It
just what
is.
I was about to get to. On the left, So you can hit. I had 175 and I hit an 8 iron, and I hit my ball 5 feet to the right of my dad's. My dad had 175, hit an 8 iron also, hit on the same exact line that I was, but hit the Redan, rolled 40 feet down the green
Oh,
to the right. So it's, I mean, just a really challenging iron shot into a good par three. I think if you can create a really good par three, you're going to have a fantastic, fantastic course. If you can have two or three good par threes that make you think, and it's not just, silly long where you got to hit a 6 iron into this thing or,
mm-hmm.
you uh, the other par five on 13, one of the longest holes out there. I think it was at one point the longest hole in England when they started it because they said it played around 620.
Holy.
They've changed the tees a little bit around, but just a straight dogleg left. The fairway is tiny, and then you have an even still a long shot into a really lengthy green from front to back.
Yeah,
And
it looks
there's
it looks very
bunkers. I don't
long.
know if you, yeah, I don't know if you can see on the left, kind of right where it dog legs. With your eye, you might be able to. There should be little kind of little divots that you see that look like bunkers that gorse is
Mm-hmm.
in. Those were bunkers originally, but the course got bombed during World War II, and they weren't able to recover them. So now they're just overgrown with gorse on that left side, and I think they're about to do some renovations to try and bring back the course to what it was
Yeah, the picture
before.
I've got pulled up here, you can kind of see like the lip of like the back edge of the bunker, and
Yeah,
it's just like
so there
grass.
was there was three bunkers over there that are now overgrown and just kind of
That's
little
crazy.
divot waste areas for gorse to get into. And if you get into this gorse, you're chipping out sideways, which I really like to put a lot of stress on hitting the fairway. 14, the par three right after was again another really good. This course shines with its par threes. Our caddy said that the par threes on the new course were much better than the old course, even though the old course is ranked higher and upkept a little better.
Mm-hmm.
We had 189 into it, or no, 195 with where the pin was. Hit a 6 iron to 30 feet and two putted, but the top tier of the green sits into a bowl. And if you're brave enough to try and send something back there, you're rewarded with a decently easy putt, and it's just a fun green to try and hit into. Seeing there's the bunker on the left that kind of hides the left side of the green when you're sitting from the back tees, and you know this course suited me really well because I play a cut, and if you
Mm-hmm.
look at it, almost every single hole favors a cut. So I mean, I
Yeah, you're
couldn't
cutting
really go
away
wrong.
from a lot of the trouble. It looks like
Yeah, 18 was a really good finishing hole. I don't know if I agree with it being a par five, but
48 on the card seems
yeah, and
short.
it's straight downhill. The green is a tough shot with it kind of sloping out to the right with the trees covering it, and it's almost a turtleback elevated green. But I had absolutely smoked a drive. My caddy said he'd never seen a ball that far down there before, even though it was 20 yards to the right in the rough. I had a pitching wedge in.
Wow.
I think it won 150 to the flag.
Yeah, that's
And,
330 drive.
hit it up on the green. It rolled off, got up and down for a birdie to win the match. I made a 10-footer on the last hole to win the match against my dad. One of the better match play events that we've had. I think what would he have been? He was two up with three to play,
Oh
and I
wow.
won.
And you won?
I won.
God,
So, or
what
no, he
happened?
was.
What did he do?
So we were. Let's see. He was one up, two up. So we were. Or no, he was one up with two to play. Yeah. So 15 I won to get him to one up or to get it even. Then 16, I hit a really good drive, 4 iron down the center of the fairway. Wind was blowing probably 25 miles an hour into my face, and I had 140. Tried to hit an 8 iron, chunked it, came up short, and that green is massive,
Mm-hmm.
and there's two levels to it. So I was putting straight uphill into the wind. Didn't get it all the way up the hill. Three putted, made bogey. He made par. He's back to one up. 17, the great par three that I was talking about, I hit it to 20 feet. He hit it just left of me all the way down. into the gorse. Had one of the best recovery shots that I've ever seen. A 40-yard pitch shot that he threw probably 50 feet in the air and hit it to
Wow.
8 feet. Missed that putt, or I missed my birdie putt and ran it by because I was trying to jam it in and put some pressure on him and take the hole away really quickly. Ran it by about 5 feet. He missed his par putt, so I had a really clutch 5-footer to drop in for par to win the hole and take it to even. And then on 18, we both hit our tee shots to the right. I hit it, I don't know, probably 30, 40 yards past him to be able to go for the green and not have any tree trouble. He chipped out to have a 70-yard pitch where his caddy said it was probably one of the best shots he's ever seen because he told him right where to land it and how it was going to react. My dad's a really good short game
Oh yeah.
player.
Yeah.
He has really good hands. So, I mean, the green slopes. If you're looking at it from the middle of the fairway, it's facing right at you. He was up parallel to the green to the left, so the green is now sloping to the right of him really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Hit it up to the top left side of the green, took 3 bounces, checked, and then zipped down to the right to probably about 15 feet. The pin was back right. Had a 15-footer for birdie. I hit my ball on the green, spun off, had a straight uphill chip that was pretty makeable, and I tried to make it. I just left it, didn't put enough steam on it because I didn't think the hill was going to be as of a factor as it was. He lipped out his putt because I've seen it go in too many times. Any putt that he has to beat me on the last hole, he will make.
Drains it every time.
So it was a crazy moment when he missed that. I was fully expecting it to go in, and then lucky enough rolled in my putt, and yeah, had a great time. Got this really good sweatshirt with a tree on it, good logo.
Yeah, good logo.
Green, there's a huge oak tree if you look to the, so you have the 18th green, then the practice chipping area, then there's a big tree on the left.
Looking
That's
at
their
it,
logo.
looking at it right here.
Big,
The clubhouse is awesome.
The clubhouse is really cool. We walked in, no spikes in the clubhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Took our hat off, went up to the locker room. Really old school locker room with kind of the stadium bench seats lining the walls, and you get a complimentary locker. So you just
That's
put your
cool.
shoes in a locker, lock it, take the key. Went down to breakfast. They had a full breakfast. I had eggs Benedict with a cappuccino, or no, an espresso and then a cappuccino. And then hung out, walked around the pro shop, looked at everything, way too expensive. Went down to the range, irons only. So first drive I hit was on 18 or 1. And then just had a really good experience with some fun, crazy caddies. My caddy was hand rolling his cigarettes all day.
Oh yeah.
On
Welcome to
the
Europe.
Because he said that it helped roll it better. So he would give me my club, I would hit it, and then he would take it and he'd roll a cigarette on the shaft, make it compact tighter. So he followed me on Instagram. He takes really good pictures of the dogs that come around Sunningdale when he's caddying, and lives in Thailand for half of the year. So
great golf in Thailand.
that's what he said.
You ever heard of the Golf Sidekick? Is a YouTuber. You heard of him? He's
yes.
I think he lives in Thailand, and
Does he?
Yeah, he just plays golf in Thailand.
Sounds like a pretty good life.
Yeah.
So, what is his name? Where is it? Morky Baby is his Instagram handle.
Baby. Shout out
Dave
Morky.
Really, really, really great photographer when it comes to
take pictures of you guys, or
no, he didn't take any pictures of us because he only takes pictures of dogs and then the course in the wintertime. So if you want to go see some pictures of Sunningdale with some snow on it, or the dogs that come around, because it's in this really old, tiny old person village outside of London. So all the members there are loaded. So they'll just walk around, and we saw probably 5 singles playing, and they had their dogs off a leash just running around the course. And on one of the par 3s, he was trying to tell us where to aim, and this lab ran across the green, and he goes, right there, right where the dog is, aim there. And the lab ran back up the fairway to find his owner. So it's Rory, I think, just got a membership at Sunningdale.
Of course, that would be like his 18th membership.
Yep, really, really cool experience. I'm glad I got to play it, and now I got 3 different countries that I've played golf in under my belt. So
That's awesome.
Looking forward to adding to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man.
Eastland
Well,
golf
he-
is really I would recommend it to anybody.
yeah, that's the one thing I wish I would have done when I was studying abroad was taking taking a day to just kind of train out somewhere and just run a
Yep.
set of clubs and play, just to say I played in that country. So that's super cool that you get to do that and experience it with your dad. I think that's something that we found is when you get to have those experiences, especially with like people you love and care and you play golf with is sick. Bandon's one of those trips that you'll never forget. That's around you will never forget, and I think that's the joy of golf is it's not the golf you play, but it's where you play and who you play with.
I would not be as close to my dad as I am if it wasn't for golf and all the adventures that we've been on, whether it was me playing in high school or college or taking trips together and doing all that.
Yeah,
Same with yours and all our friends. It's really a social aspect of the game that I think is more important than shooting
yeah.
a really good
What you
score.
shoot?
But at the end of the day, I want to beat his ass. So
Yeah, I've heard both sides of like, God, like Carter, we had a great time today, and fuck, like I had to roll one in on you again to beat you. Like, come on,
yeah,
like it's
yeah,
the best. It's the best of both worlds. Jeff and I don't have that same competitive nature on the golf course. It's more of like who's gonna suck less normally. And I think that's something I want to work on. Is like, I'd rather like be competitive against him than us both be like we both suck. Like I'd rather, who can
yeah.
take it to a different level and a different mindset. So
Play match play. If you're
oh yeah, definitely.
you're not a good golfer and you're not not an extremely talented golfer, or, better than a lot of people on the planet, but you find yourself caring a little too much about score sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Play match play with your buddies. The worst you can lose by is
The whole,
probably like 5.
yeah. I think that's something that I've kind of thought about is like I'm a 7, 8, 9 handicap, but I'm still in like the 80th percentile of golfers. But
You're way higher than that.
yeah, but like at the same time, like I'm not a
Yeah.
pro, so like getting mad at bad shots is like it's kind of pointless because you're gonna have more bad shots than good shots. But
Yeah.
the good shots are the ones that bring you back, and that's the joy of the game.
Very much so.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I think that's all. We obviously have a lot to talk about, a lot that's gone on, but I think for now that's a good spot to kind of call it, and I think we'll pick up again.
Give me a British Open prediction real quick.
Oh, that's a good
probably
idea.
Have a British Open preview, but let's get one. Rattle one off right now. Don't think. Don't look. Just say.
Tommy Fleetwood.
Who do you want?
Tommy Fleetwood.
Wow. That's a big. I'm going Victor Hovland.
I think that's good. I think Ludwig is a more proper answer, but Tommy just I think it fits him well. I think he just absolutely got his balls chopped off and needs to.
Fire under him.
Yeah, I mean he was so close and he gave it away. I mean bogeying 2 of the last 4, 2 of the last 3 to lose. I think it's gonna put a little dog in him to come out and start swinging. So I think it's a good course fit. I think he wants it. He's got 42 top 10s and 160 starts without a win. And I don't think that's a record he wants to hold anymore. So I'm gonna go Tommy as my out like kind of wild card pick, but Ludwig is a sneaky. It's kind of close to home for him too. So I'm gonna go. You're good. What'd you say? You're going
Going Hovland.
Hovland.
Hovland pops for him.
Yep. There's Scotty's got room for one more win this year too, so it could be this weekend.
Win the championship.
Oh yeah.
Him or Rory.
I'm excited for
They've been
Eastlake
having.
to become competitive again. Guys starting without strokes.
Me too. It's a decent course. It's a really fun course, especially on the last couple holes. It creates a lot of drama since they flipped the 9s with the scoring ability.
Yep. Second year in the run now.
One question I want to leave you with before we go, and the next time that we meet is who's had the better season so far? I don't want you to answer right now. I want you to do a little research. Is Rory or Scotty? Just looking at the numbers, looking at what they've done, the answer's a little bit harder than I think most people would think.
Do they both have 3 wins in a major?
They do.
So Rory's got Pebble players and Masters, Scotty has Memorial, Byron, and PGA.
Yeah.
Both top. I know they're both top 2 in driving.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's
Just
tough.
just look into it a little more. It's a difficult question to answer.
Yeah.
I've been looking at that for like a week, and I don't know who to say.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a good one. A good one to keep on the back burner.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, good talking to you. We hadn't actually really talked since you got back, so it's good to catch up.
Yeah.
Tons of stuff coming. Lots more content. I got the drone all working. Ready to start filming some stuff. So.
Nice. Exciting.
All right, man. Thank you guys for watching. Tune into the next one, and we hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you soon. Peace.